Welcome, fans, to a live results and reaction to the Elimination Chamber 2025 from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where the big news, the historic news of the night, was the heel turn of John Cena, who won the men's chamber. He turned on Cody Rhodes in that segment where Cody was supposed to give his answer to The Rock about his soul and being his champion, etc., etc. And The Rock said that if he didn't accept the offer, that the dream would die again tonight. Cody said, Rock, go F yourself. And then Cena and Cody embraced. The Rock did the slit symbol to the or gesture to the throat, and Cena low blowed Cody, struck him with his Rolex watch, had juice, and then began to hit Cody with the STF. Cody bled, and Cena raised the WWE Undisputed Championship at the end. So that was definitely a historic happening in professional wrestling. Cena had long said that he did not want to turn heel for a number of reasons, but I guess with it being his retirement year, that he decided to pull the trigger. And I got to say, I was skeptical going into this card, but I really enjoyed it. Reminiscent the end there of the Austin McMahon situation from WrestleMania a few years back. Yes, Dragon, why? Cena, why? It's actually, I think, a really good move for business and to create interest in the WrestleMania card upcoming. We'll come back to that in a second, get more of your input, but want to go through the larger card. The crowd was announced as 38,493 fans in the Rogers Centre in Toronto. Notably, and this has already blown up over social media, fans were booing during the Star Spangled Banner, and Pat McAfee, in fact, during the women's chamber, said that they have to stop booing the national anthem, which was quite amusing all the way around. I think that's going to be a topic of discussion in addition to the Cena turn coming out of this for a while. I like that. Cena, Doctor of Thugonomics, going to hit like crack. Yeah, very exciting development. We'll get to that again in a second. The women's chamber was also interesting right off the hop. Jane Cargill returned in an unannounced capacity and went in there like a house of fire, looking very jacked, cleaned house on Naomi to the point that she was eliminated from participating in the match. An impressive sequence. I think this is the way that they need to book Cargill as a monster moving forward, something that they really haven't done to date, but hopefully this really bodes for good things for her in the future. There was some blood on Liv Morgan's back the hard way, which was acknowledged by the announce team, likely from a pretty impressive looking hair whip by Bel Air, who actually won via KOD and the pinfall, did the whole sign point gimmick, and then on her way back was confronted by Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at the entrance. Colton Grundy is saying, thought the Elimination Chamber in men's was weak. I love Cody telling The Rock to go F himself in the Cena heel turn. Yeah, for sure. The women's chamber was about what I expected. The men's had its moments, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then the next match, curiously, was the other women's match on the card, Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Trish and Tiffany had respective outfits representing the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Blue Jays in deference to Trish's hometown being Toronto. Pretty much a standard women's tag match. I thought that a top rope bulldog or stratisfaction, as the commentators called it, for Trish on Nia was impressive. Stratton ended up pinning Nia with the moonsault. Again, pretty standard stuff. Nothing really stuck out to me other than that. Next was Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned hardcore match. This match had a little bit of everything from chairs, table spots, fighting in the crowd, multiple ref bumps. At one point, there were some ECW chants when Sammy got a barbed wire chair and used it on Owens, but curiously, there was no blood, or maybe little inadvertent blood, after Owens went headfirst into the chair, which I found kind of ridiculous considering it was barbed wire. But it seems to be the direction of the new WWE to limit that sort of thing to special occasions such as the last segment. But I thought it really took away from the hardcore nature of that match and really would have been acceptable there. But no, Owens won the match after two Pillmanizer chair spots with the chair around the neck into the ring post, and then a power bomb off the edge of the apron. And as Owens was going back, he came back and then attacked a number of the security guards and other officials, exposed the concrete, looked like he was going to pile drive Sammy, but then Randy Orton's music hit, and Owens went into the ring, challenged him, and then Orton delivered the RKO. Orton was going to hit Owens with the chair, but went for the punt, or was going to go for the punt. Security stopped him, and then Orton delivered multiple RKOs. So a really impactful return for Orton. He looked in tremendous shape, carrying on from their program where Owens injured Orton's neck. Imagine that'll be a WrestleMania match. All in all, a pretty decent hardcore match. But I thought personally that it was weakened a bit by the lack of blood when it certainly was called for. There was, as we talked about today on the Shooting from the Hip podcast with my partner Angel Medina, Stephanie McMahon is coming out with, I guess it's a podcast. It was framed as an interview segment on ESPN Plus, and we'll be interviewing a number of luminaries there, including Pat McAfee. So that should be interesting. I will say that I found her laugh or cackle or whatever that was to be really annoying. Hopefully that's limited in terms of the interviews, but why not? A lot of folks now, most folks have an interview segment. I'm sure she has some interesting stories to tell. Then it was time for the men's chamber, where Paul came out waving the stars and stripes to start. I didn't really think that got as negative a reaction as anticipated, but still good for him for seizing the moment with the heat there in the building. And there was a big ovation, I thought, at least from the broadcast that I heard from John Cena's entrance. The match was decent. I thought it dragged a little bit in spots. There was a good exchange between verbally in the ring between Punk and Cena that was interrupted by Seth, and of course a pretty pleasing heart attack spot involving Cena and Punk on Seth, and then eventually Cena won with the STF following interference by Seth Rollins in terms of a curb stomp on the area right outside the ring. So interesting outcome there. I thought it was pretty 50-50 in terms of Cena or Punk, but they went with Cena, which I wasn't disappointed with prior to the final segment. But man, that was something else. The Rock, I should mention, had Travis Scott with him. Uh, didn't do a rap per se, but accompanied it to the ring with some kind of belt, and then at one point burned some sage in the ring before all the activity that happened. So all in all, I would say the last premium live event that I watched was the Royal Rumble. I would say this was far superior, and kind of excited to see where they go with this